Hello.
Hero.
Hello. Welcome to another Friday night edition of the Cavalry Crew. It is Friday, February 28th. And we've got Zach and Steven. How you boys doing?
Pretty good.
Ahoy. Hey there.
I'm here.
There we go. You know
I'm here.
your sweatshirt is triggering me.
Yeah, can you take it off?
Yeah.
The back says better coverage than 5G.
Is it really?
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
funny.
it does. I don't know if
You
you
don't
can
have to
see it.
show us. Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh.
Where'd you get that?
Amazon.
Oh, I'm gonna have to
You
find
won't
that.
wear
That's
that to
pretty cool.
Portland,
I've been wearing it to work every day.
have you?
Yeah. Oh, I've
Walk
had
down
some
the
pretty
street
cool
of Tacoma with it.
responses. I've had some people like come up and whisper, like, "That's a cool hoodie." I'm like, "Why are you whispering?" And then I had some like old white dude. He was like, "Oh, he's trying to turn us into Russia." I'm like, "Calm down, man, before you have a fucking aneurysm." Jesus Christ, it's a hoodie. Leave me alone.
um, so welcome to another edition. Hey, if you didn't catch last week's episode, go back and watch it or listen to it. We're on Snapchat. Wait, no, we're not on Snapchat. Rumble, Rumble, and Spotify.
We're just sending snaps of us.
Yeah.
And we're on Chatterbait.
We're on Chatterbait.
Chatterbait. So last week's episode was all about granny porn. We didn't even get to the topics of what we were going to talk about last week. So tonight we're going to talk.
Sorry
Yeah.
How
for
long was
anybody that was watching that. Jesus,
What?
How long was the episode?
like two
2.5
fucking
hours.
hours.
How did you stretch granny porn for 2 hours?
No,
Oh,
we're not gonna go into it. You're gonna
Not
watch
gonna
it
go.
on your own.
You got to go
I
watch
don't need to.
All right, I gotta
You're gonna get Wise all bricked up again.
it. Whatever, dude.
Granny porn? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I need a scenario.
Better Lois.
Only grants.
Holy grants.
So this week we're going to talk about the new VA secretary and his plans coming up for the VA. We're also going to talk about, we're going to only dabble into the Epstein files because it's like 5 years of like complete bullshit. And finally, they tried to release the phase 1 files yesterday, and guess what? Wah wah.
No go.
And then we're going to talk about today's very interesting meeting in the Oval Office between Zelensky and Daddy Trump. And then we've got a memes of the week. Some very interesting, so a couple of funny videos on memes of the week. So let's get started. Let me give you some history first off on the new VA secretary.
Old Doug Collins.
Doug Collins. So
He was
Doug
Air
Collins,
Force, wasn't
yes, he's an Air Force veteran. He's a lawyer. He was a politician in I believe Georgia. He was a representative to the House in Georgia. He lost a bid for the Senate. And then he's kind of been I think
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah, don't hold me to that, but let me pull it up because sometimes I confuse him with someone else out of Georgia. And no, it's not Stacey Abrams. Okay, so yeah, he had previously served in the U.S. House as Georgia's 9th Congressional District from 2013 to 2021. And he is a colonel. He currently serves in, so he's an Air Force veteran, but he's a colonel with the U.S. Air Force Reserve as a chaplain. So Um, he did run in the 2020 special election for Georgia's Senate seat. He finished third place behind Warnock and incumbent Kelly Loeffler, and we all know how that ended up. Loeffler lost to Warnock. But on November 14th, 2024, Trump announced his intention to nominate Collins as the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. He was confirmed on February 4th by a vote of 77 to 23 and took office the next day. So, let me ask you two first. Is it best to have a veteran running the VA?
For sure.
Why though?
I don't know. To know where we come
Because
from.
if anything, the last few years showed us this private industry blows government out of the water in pretty much every aspect. So is somebody, unless the only thing I can see is he understands the flaws that are already in the system and maybe has a plan on how to correct it. But sounds like he might be stuck with that kind of government mentality.
And he's already higher leadership as well, huh? You said he's a
Right.
colonel. Yeah, so he might be used to the.
I mean, I'm not dogging him or nothing, but
Mhm.
I think there's a shot that, you know, he just does exactly what he's told. Like,
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, what do you mean by he just does what he's told, though? I mean, he is
like I don't know if
VA.
he'll necessarily have. Well, I don't know because I've never heard of this man until now.
Mhm.
But just kind of reading off of it, seems like a wholesome guy. Clearly into God and country, serves the country, serves as a chaplain. You know, so it might be good, but it's just I don't necessarily think that military mindset is the right mindset for every situation, right?
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
don't know if healthcare is necessarily one of those. And I don't mean it like towards him necessarily, but oh, you got to think Air Force was huge into the whole let them all come in. You want to be a girl, you want to be a guy, we don't care, be a tree, you know.
Mhm.
So I would be kind of curious as where was he standing during all this? Was he ever trying to fight it? Did he just roll with it? You know, is he going to be one of those that's already understanding and going to allow funding to be used in that kind of way? I don't know. That's all stuff that'll come with time as we see him
Well, if anything, I mean,
make decisions.
him being a chaplain and a a Christian, I mean, I'm sure his stance against that's pretty right there. You know what I mean? Against
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, but you've already been dealing with it. You've like kind of already done it, right? Like
Yeah.
you're a chaplain, but you're also a chaplain to people who technically shouldn't be there
Yeah.
in that world, right?
Right. But if you're
So I know what you mean, he has that mindset, but at the same time, he's already kind of had to somehow work around that and make his life work to it.
yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I don't necessarily need a man to go up there and be like, fuck everybody, there's only boys and girls. But I don't need to see somebody, you know, putting millions or billions of dollars into worthless programs like that when people like
Well,
Bowen need legs.
does he really though?
Ankles.
He
Ankles.
ankles, yeah.
Get him some
Anything.
cadaver ankles.
So to give you an idea of what he's done in his first 30 days, he has brought everyone back into the office at the VA. No more. Ooh, that was loud.
That is hella loud. Is that
Who
your
just got
phone,
a
Wise?
text? No, not my
Oh,
phone.
that's Ham.
It's a Sierra's laptop, so she gets all the text messages.
To her
Damn.
laptop?
Yeah.
That's
Apple.
gotta be irritating.
I don't know how to
You can turn
that
that off. So he did bring all of the employees back into the office. No more remote work for the VA. He's eliminated the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives because of following Trump's orders with his executive orders. He reallocated $14 million from the DEI initiatives at the VA towards veterans healthcare and caregiver programs. Additionally, the department has identified and redirected $98 million to further support healthcare benefits for veterans that were part of useless initiatives that they didn't feel fit the VA's mission. Now, there has been a lot of blowback because of obviously liberals also are in the VA. So they have been saying that a lot of this money that's being cut for programs were helping veterans. But of course, they were some of the most under attended programs and under use of money. So I don't think those programs look, the VA pilots programs all the time. And if something doesn't work, they end it. So I don't see why they would be, obviously screeching and screaming because they ended a DEI initiative. The VA revised its flag policy, now exclusively flying the American flag and the POW MIA flag at all its facilities. The American flag is the only one that unites everyone. So those are the flags that only should be at federal facilities.
Yeah, that's cool.
So efforts to combat waste, fraud, and abuse are also continuing. Doge has come in and has been given access to see what kind of waste has been being paid out of the VA. For years, veterans have said the VA is one of the most overbloated or one of the most bloated and overfunded agencies in the federal government. So we'll see what happens. The department has assigned employees to scrutinize contracts, ensuring funds are spent efficiently. For instance, as a result, $178,000 that was allocated for Politico newsletters has been redirected back to veterans healthcare. So there's a lot going on there.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah. On February 13th, the VA dismissed more than 1,000 employees who were probationary employees. But get this, on the 24th, then they dismissed another 1,400. And then on the 25th, get this, the VA processed 1 million disability claims faster than ever before. So what does that say about efficiency?
It just means nobody was doing their job.
Nobody was doing their job. You didn't. So by removing 2,400 employees in 2 weeks, and then immediately after that, processing faster than ever before, processing 1 million claims faster than ever before. I mean, that kind of shows that maybe we didn't need 2,400 employees. I'm sure there's a lot more employees that the VA doesn't need. And I'm sure you all see it too when you visit those facilities. How many of those employees are just sitting around, not doing anything? They don't care to help you. They're on their phone. They don't. I mean, I see it all the time when I go up to the Cleveland.
Well, speaking of that, so I've been trying to set up my primary care appointment, like with the VA here, and they told me that they didn't have a spot for me to go to yet, and that I would have to use third-party doctors until I can get in. And I go, so where am I at on this waiting list? They go, it's not a waiting list. We can't call it a waiting list. It's not a waiting list. It's a transfer to health. I goes, no. He told me I can't go because we're waiting until there's a spot. So I'm on a waiting list. She goes, yeah, but we can't say it like that.
Well, can I say it?
I know, right? I'm like, what the fuck does this mean? And I don't know about you guys, but in the last couple of years, it's like if you call I've had people sound like they're in a club
Mm-hmm.
trying to
Right.
like help me with something, and I'm like, why am I repeating myself to you?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
I
it's
don't
all that
know.
remote work.
Well, that too, because you're calling someone who's probably sitting in their living room. They've got they probably have the view on TV.
Right. The View. Is that even a show
Oh
still?
yeah, unfortunately, it's still on there.
Yeah. The Sunny Liston
Speaking
lady,
of
she's
granny
crazy.
porn,
Yeah, speaking of granny porn.
that's what they'll be doing after the gets shut off.
Well,
Old
they
hat.
can't just be a granny. They gotta be fitted for a retirement home needs. Yeah, see, we're not getting
But
into
I think
it.
one of the things too that he seems to be focusing more on is the actual personal touch of the veteran from a VA employee. And for the last for the last administration, I mean, for 4 years or 5 years since COVID, I have personally felt like just a number. You go in, you talk to someone, or you're on the phone with someone, and they're like, okay, move on to the next one. And I felt like I was in the corporate world at calling a call center. Um, so one of the things that he says in his speech to veterans on his first day and to the VA employees was the fact that they're going to put veterans at the center of everything they do, focusing relentlessly on customer service and convenience, as well as timely access to care and benefits for eligible veterans, family members, caregivers, and survivors. Um, whereas in the previous administration, all they cared about was diversity, equity, inclusion, and acceptance, basically. And I saw it every day when I went to the Cleveland VA when, hell, it was not Pride Month, and they still had that trans shit and pride shit all over the place. I don't care who you are or what you do, but don't put it in a federal institution and push it in my face.
Oh, you know they're gonna do this. The one thing they absolutely can do.
Well, that's the thing about that. I don't have a problem with the LGB. It's the TQIA plus 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 negative equal sign, whatever you want to call it. It's that
No,
group that I,
100%.
that I have a
Yeah.
problem with. They're the ones
I'm
that
a
throw it in your
cat.
face. Yeah.
I'm a
So
dog.
I think Doug Collins is going to be the best thing that the VA has seen in a while. Um, I'm excited to see what the VA, how it changes. And look, we always tell people, well, you want government health care, just look at the VA. Maybe by the end of 4 years, we might be saying something different. The VA has completely, maybe not turned 180 degrees, but maybe with a large effort from the Trump administration to reduce the size of the bloated agency and actually helping the veterans who need help.
Right, and I feel like VA is one of the easier tasks to get taken care of. Right. So,
Yeah, except for the fact that every time you log in, there's a new program or a new pilot program or something like that, and it's got like
right,
a
right.
five-letter acronym. Um, that's the problem I have with the efficiency in the VA is like there is no efficiency in the VA when you're constantly piloting stupid programs.
No, yeah, I agree with that for sure. But if well, realistically, he just needs more funding and someone to
Mhm.
oversee and allocate those funds as needed.
Yeah,
And that right there will take care of most of it. I mean, you'll notice off of just the statistics of different states on who's actually putting an effort in and who's not.
mhm. Well, and then it comes down to regions.
Right.
He's got to make sure that all the regions are basically on the same page and they're doing what they need to do. Um, So
That's going to be
we'll
the
see.
harder part.
Yeah, especially when you go to a different region and you pretty much have to start all over. Like what happens to a cloud? What happened? Isn't our information isn't the VA information in the cloud where they can access it from one region to the next?
Apparently not.
Realistic? No, they're just too lazy to do a proper transfer from this email
They
to that
shouldn't have to.
or
I mean, they should
file.
be able to just look me up in one system.
I literally just went through that bullshit.
Right.
Going from the Northwest Florida, Southeast Georgia region
To Texas.
Texas, and they're like, "Oh no, we can't see anything that they have over there, any of your records." So I'm like, "So what you mean to tell me is I have to tell you all my fucking ailments, all my boo boos, and everything to notate it on my account here?" They're like, "Yeah, and even Dallas is a different region than Central Texas." Like, what the
Right.
fuck, man? Like, why can't y'all streamline this shit? It's 2025.
I know. I mean, unfortunately, that would be one of the biggest cloud systems out there, but still, it should be that way. I mean, it makes
I don't
no
know.
sense at all.
I mean, it's army wide, like the whole United
Mhm.
States Army. Whenever you're going off your social
Yeah,
security number, I mean, you can go from Fort Campbell to Fort Drum, and all your medical records is carried with you, right?
right.
So whenever you get out, I mean, you have all your records there if you want to get, um, you know,
Well, most your records.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
We have a proficient 75% success rate.
But how is the Army more successful at carrying over medical records than the VA is? That shouldn't be at all accurate.
Because they put all the responsibility on you to take it to the place and get it put into a file.
Yeah.
mhm.
You know, when you go somewhere else, it's not like, oh, here's a transfer. No, you got this fucking 200-page packet, and it's like, I got to go turn this into medical facility, turn this into this guy, get this to
Mhm.
that, go receive my new gear. And I think that's what Trump's trying to go back to, right? A more analytic, smaller. You don't need more people. You just need people to
Right,
do what they're supposed to do.
right.
I don't know. That sounds pretty good so far, though, huh?
Well, we'll see what happens. Like I was telling Hoy offline before we got started, unfortunately, these guys are coming in, and each new person in an agency is like the new CEO of a 4,000 member or a 4,000 employee corporation. So they're not going to be able to make instantaneous decisions and changes and find the
Right.
naysayers and everything right off the bat. So it will be a little bit. Um, you can't expect. I mean, we're living sadly in a world of where people want instantaneous gratification. So unfortunately, in a federal government, that's not going to happen.
No, no,
And
absolutely.
to transition, this is what we saw yesterday with the Epstein file release the botched Epstein file release. To give everyone a backstory, on Wednesday night on the Jamie Waters show, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, said that big news was coming on Thursday that she was going to be releasing the Epstein files, possibly, hopefully, on Thursday.
Right.
So Thursday rolls around, and some video comes out of the White House with all these conservative influencers, and I have a feeling I know why the Trump administration did it. They gave all these conservative influencers and podcasters these binders that on the front it showed declassified Epstein files phase 1. So this was about 1 o'clock Eastern. I'm sitting there on X, and like a lot of other people saying, okay, here we are 1:30, here we are 2 o'clock, nothing. And
Right.
these influencers kept saying, oh, I've got this, just wait, stick around, blah blah blah. They were all waiting for either their podcast shows or they were waiting for their big subscriber shows where only if you subscribe, you can watch them, and it's paid subscription. So I'm sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, and man, I start blasting them, and a lot of other people are just blasting them for pulling the same shit that the Biden administration would pull with their influencers.
Hmm.
Basically, holding the information to get the most amount of engagements, the most amount of traffic on their X accounts so that they can get paid by X. Well, come to find out, most of everything in those binders was redacted. Um, and a lot of it was pages that were already public 2, 3 years ago.
And I'm all for transparency, but social media has nothing to do with government. They should not be side and side, you know?
Well, I think one of the reasons why they gave it to the influencers was because the legacy media would have taken this and basically done all hit pieces on the Trump administration.
Right.
Because the Trump administration says they're most transparent in history, but yet all the pages were redacted. So that's not exactly what I would have done. I mean, this is not how I would have released it. But
No.
one of the files or one of the pages in the binder showed a letter from Pam Bondi, actually dated yesterday. A letter from Pam Bondi to Kash Patel, who's now the new director of the FBI, stating that she doesn't feel that she's got everything. And the Southern District of New York FBI office, who is the FBI office that handled the case, she felt like they were holding on to a lot of files.
Well,
So,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
so my opinion on this is the Senate took all the way to last Friday. Was it Thursday or Friday to confirm Kash Patel? So that I think it gave certain, naysayers and anti-Trumpers in the FBI time to maybe destroy files, destroy evidence, destroy things. Because how many
Yeah.
of those senators, how many people in DC do you think is on the Epstein logs and the Epstein file?
Oh, I bet you all of them. I bet you it was like
90% of them, probably.
what is that? Like a thing you have to do to join
Because they all
tradition
wanted to be
or
his friend. Because he would give
no.
them tons of money.
My thing with that is, like you just said, though, she already had that feeling yesterday. So
Right.
why not just pull out, explain why you're pulling out in a conference and say, hey, we're not going to be able to release it because I don't feel like I have all the data
Yeah. I
and
think
leave
that's
it
the
at
way she.
that. But you guys play it off and then you, like you just said, and then have social media people, influencers. What the fuck is an influencer?
So now all those social media, those conservative influencers and all that have lost credibility with their audiences. But yeah, you're right. That's the course of action she should have went. She should have had a press conference and she should have said, "Look, I do not feel like I have all the files. And it should have been like at the same time that the Washington FBI office was storming into the Southern District of New York FBI office and saying, "Give us everything you got."
Mm-hmm. And like we were saying off camera, and that happened earlier today, and I was already seeing posts similar to what we're saying. But by the end of tonight, just shy of us starting, I'm already seeing posts about, oh, it's ATF, FBI, it's everybody. Everybody's withholding.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's giving feedback. I'm like, oh, well, okay, well,
Well,
isn't
and
this
that's what I
just a
was telling you. Like,
coincidence?
there are so many anti-Trumpers and naysayers in DC. I mean, you have to think how many employees are just in those three agencies,
Oh, thousands.
right? So there's going to be people that we still have to root out. Trump still has to fire, or the agency directors have to fire. So, like I said, give it time. Eventually, it might right the ship, but it's going to take some time. And that's the course of action. That was the wrong course of action to go about releasing so-called Epstein files.
Oh no, 100%.
What you munching on, Zach?
Oreos.
Quackers,
Quackers.
lunch meat and cheese.
Nice. Got some cheese.
Oh, he's got a security board.
It's normally
security board.
my deer sauce,
Security board.
my summer sauce,
So,
jalapeno.
summer sausage,
So
yummy.
Don't lie. You just like the way it lays on your face.
It's true. They make them really girthy.
You make the Pringle can?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why they call it summer sausage.
Should be called Ron Jeremy sausage.
So, another juicy thing that happened in Washington this week, today, our friend Vladimir Zelensky
Made a fool of
showed
himself.
up at the White House to make a fool of himself. He showed up today basically to sign this agreement, which we found out that he doesn't even have to sign it. One of his ministers, deputy ministers, they could have signed it. This mineral deal to give the U.S. access to Ukraine's minerals. What's the word I'm looking for? The
Resources, natural
Ready.
resources.
no, the not heavy minerals, but
Oh,
we just talked
production
about them.
minerals.
No. Wow,
Precious
my brain
metals.
is precious metals. Yeah.
Mm.
So Ukraine's precious minerals, where we were talking about, they could have gotten it out of the U.S., but the U.S. is backlogged by
You old decrepit man.
what?
What's the word I'm thinking of?
Precious. But okay, so they were the U.S. is blocked by climate change mafia. We can't dig in our own soil for precious minerals. So we have to make a deal with Ukraine. Now, unfortunately, a lot of those precious minerals are in the area of Ukraine where Russia is fighting. I think this deal was to basically just show an economic agreement between Ukraine and the U.S. to show some force, because maybe someday American companies and contractors will be there to dig, and then that could be a way of protecting that part of the Ukraine.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it completely blew up in Zelensky's face today because he was just going there to basically say, "Where's my money?" So, in fact, I've got a portion of this. I've got several different clips to play, and I hope I get to hear Zach's impersonation of Trump on this one clip because it sounds just like him.
A guy from Ukraine, he should have wore a tie.
For real, you don't own a suit. I've never seen this man show up properly entire.
Right? So here's the first clip.
Maybe he did. I don't know what happened, but he didn't break it with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right. I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is
What say you, Zach?
We're playing poker right now, and your deck is shit. I don't know. That's all
Your
I got.
hand is shit.
Yeah, your hand shit. That's better.
So
You don't have
that
the
was one of
cards.
the. You don't have the cards. That was one of the points today. But here's one where they interact with where Zelensky interacts with a vice president. And I might
Oh,
skip
it's
through
even
this
worse.
video. It's actually 8 minutes, but so I might skip through this.
He's a damn war hero, Wise. How many 5.56 rounds can you buy with $48 billion?
No, they've been given
Oh,
400 billion.
AK 400 billion. So how much 5.5 or 7.62 can you purchase with $400 billion? Imagine a lot. Hmm. Well, if this is accurate, they're saying there's 880,000 Ukraine soldiers versus 600,000 Russian.
So here's what I want to know. He says that Russia invaded in 2014. That was under Obama. There was no fighting or anything going on, and they weren't crying to the world then. So why are they crying to the world now? Because of money. All we've given them is money. So let's continue on here. It gets pretty heated here.
It should. This is what we expected Biden to do, but he just never showed up. He couldn't remember why he was there. Are you pulling something up, Wise? Hello?
Hero.
Hello?
Hello?
So right there, he was talking about the gas line contract.
None of us heard
So,
that.
oh, you didn't?
No.
Was
No,
I not
we've just
sharing
been
it with
sitting
you?
in silence wondering what you're doing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Can you?
anybody watching?
Have you seen my
Yes.
Metamucil?
Sorry.
Have you seen my cats?
Is this where I buy the pens?
There we go.
Okay, so he had just talked about the gas pipeline. So now this is Burisma. So let's hear what they're talking about.
He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people in your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking.
So,
Done a lot of talking.
yeah. So that's all that guy really is just a talker and begging anyone for money.
Well, yeah. Why not?
I don't know. What do you think, Zach? I mean, I think that the vice president is correct. Diplomacy has to come in effect. You can't just sit there and just continue to lob money at a problem.
Well, where's the receipt of the billions of other dollars that's been sent to him in the last 5 years? Let's start there.
Right.
You know, I mean, where's that going? That's all taxpayer
Exactly.
money. You know, he doesn't even know where the fuck it's at.
Right.
Don't worry about his diplomacy.
I agree. And let's see what happens here next.
Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You haven't been
Not only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military equipment, and your men are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have our military equipment, if you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yeah.
I already heard it from Putin.
But did you notice the physical push that Trump gave him on the left arm?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Trump's not having it. He's pissed.
No, that guy knows. Zelensky's like 5'6", and Trump's 6'2", 6'3".
Mm-hmm. So let's finish this out here.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was with
wasn't
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
That
That was
your,
with,
that
that
was
was
your
with
not a
president. It was
smart
your
person.
president.
excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful.
Come on, Zach. I know you can do that.
When we give you Christmas presents, there better be Christmas thank you cards in the mail, Zelensky. We gave you the javelins.
We gave you the javelin.
Obama gave you sheets.
I gave you javelins. That's good.
Trump's
No,
the uncle. Zelensky's the little nephew, you know.
Yeah.
He gave him a Nintendo 64 for Christmas, and he's just sitting there like, I want a PlayStation.
He's whining and complaining because he got a
I said
track
thank
for
you,
Hot
gosh.
Wheels. Yeah, right. All right.
Well, I
that's
mean,
another-
if the war ends, he loses cash cow, right?
That's
Yeah.
the thing. That you hit it right there. He wants guarantees from the United States, and the only thing that we're going to guarantee is an economic agreement. But he wants more guarantees, which is money. So let's see how they finish out here.
Because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia?
So, yeah.
What was she
What if,
asking?
what if
She
Russia
was
breaks?
asking, what if Russia broke a ceasefire? But see, that's diplomacy that they haven't even agreed on yet. So I don't think Vance answered that question.
Huh. Oh well. Like I said before we started this thing, they can have their war, that's fine. I'm fighting the streets every day with these Powells.
Well, and what's funny is not too long after that, the White House came out and said that after today's meeting, they are ramping up search for waste, fraud, and abuse on the $350 billion given to Zelensky.
Good.
And we also saw that one of the deputy ministers in Ukraine wants to immediately start impeachment proceedings on Zelensky.
Yeah, that's from his own country.
Mm-hmm.
Those people
Because
that he said, ask the Ukrainians. ask them."
How could you not take what we're giving you right now? The only guarantee is an economic guarantee, which, I mean, hey, it's a perfect way for you to make money on your precious metals, but also get precious metals to equipment producers and computer manufacturers across the world who will pay very nicely for it.
Right.
At least that's
Well, I
part
mean,
of the
and also
economic
be able
rebuilding.
to make the equipment, we're sending you.
Yeah, because remember, Biden promised to basically rebuild their economy.
What?
So,
Like giving them an economy?
well, right, like basically rebuilding everything. And we're basically not here to do what we had to do in Japan after World War II. And that was
Right.
basically completely rebuild Japan's economy, infrastructure, everything. Same thing with Europe. And you saw what happened in Europe. The Iron Curtain, East West Germany, Berlin split in half.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so that's not our responsibility to handle that stuff. I completely agree with President Trump. Look, you got to be the bully in the room, and of course, leaders around the world are calling him a bully. A lot of liberals are calling him a bully, but hey, it's the only. They want this war to stop. This is the only way to get the war to stop.
Yeah. We don't want to fund this.
Right.
Has nothing to do with
Right.
us.
Right. So,
And like Trump said, if we didn't invade, if we didn't help, this war would not have gone 5 years.
right. Hell, the war should never have even happened because I mean, if the only time that Putin ever invaded, and actually started a full-scale war was during the Biden administration because they were weak. All they did was just talk. They threatened the guy from 5,000 miles away. And what did they do? Nothing.
Nothing. And then they let him threaten back.
Yep. And
how many weeks did we sit there going, "Oh, Russia's gonna lay off nukes"?
Mm-hmm. But Trump is also right when he says, "Look, no one was ever in conversation with Putin." How do you end a war when you're not in conversation with both sides? When you know
Right.
that the guy you're giving money to and you're giving equipment to is going to lose.
100%, man.
So that was today in
Like I
Washington,
said,
D.C.
we're funding it. We want it to end. We should just shut up and let us end it.
Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, could you imagine all the DEI programs $350 billion could have afforded?
Right.
I'm just waiting for my Doge check.
Well,
It's like getting mad that the cops showed up and stopped the crime.
Right?
Like, how many people are there in the United States that pay taxes? Divided by $350 billion.
You know what's funny though? The people who don't pay taxes are probably the ones fighting for all this bullshit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they're the ones fighting for all this bullshit, and their NGOs that they work for are the ones probably getting all the kickbacks.
Yeah.
So that was today. What a lovely Friday. Trump then went home, and he's going to give the rest of the weekend for world leaders to basically think about it.
Yeah.
But look, this man is doing things that the Biden administration never even thought of. The guy had like 3 world leaders in Washington, D.C. this week alone.
Right.
He's doing like major amounts of investments. Apple announced what, $200 billion investment in North Carolina to bring manufacturing to North Carolina and 20,000 jobs.
Was it for the lithium mine there?
No, it's actually manufacturing. So I think they're going to move one of their. I think they're moving one of their chip manufacturers back to the United States. Audi and Porsche today announced that they're moving manufacturing to the United States because of the tariffs. Honda, was it Toyota and Hyundai are moving manufacturing into the U.S. from Mexico because of the tariffs. Trump has initiated a $5 million gold card for companies to pay to bring workers to the United States, as far as like the XB1 program, or I forget what the HB1.
Wait, what is this?
So, in the past, companies would pay money they would promise money and investments in the U.S. to get employers or to get employment from outside workers. Here, let me pull it up.
But it's like $5 million to get the gold card or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I briefly like read into it the other day.
Yeah. So let me pull up the info here. Let me try and find a site that actually knows what the hell they're talking about. So it's a route to citizenship, basically. And of course, NPR is calling it a green card for the rich, but it's companies, not. Of course, I can't read that. I hate how all these sites now are like, subscribe to read.
Yeah, or accept our terms and conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, let me give you permission to hack me.
Okay, so he signed an executive order on Wednesday that he plans to start selling a gold card visa with a potential pathway to U.S. citizenship for $5 million. This is replacing a 35-year-old visa program for investors. So the way it is, he says, if we sell $1 million, that's $5 trillion. If we sell 1 million gold cards, that's $5 trillion. And this is off the demand from the business community to participate. It would replace the EB-5 program, which offers U.S. visas to investors who spend about $1 million on a company that employs at least 10 people. So it's going to basically be reversed, where it spend $5 million, and the previous program, they would spend the money and they wouldn't be given to the federal government. They would just say, "Oh yeah, here's $1 million for investing elsewhere in the United States for development or whatever else like that." But where Trump is, it's going to be $5 million up front, and you get this gold card, or you get, I don't know if it's an actual gold card, but then these corporations then can bring investors, these corporations can invest in the United States and bring U.S. hopefully workers in that'll give them a pathway to citizenship. So they'll be able to hire new employees, but the best thing for it is, this is one of his ideas, out of the box thinking, to spend down our deficit.
Right.
Because in all the past, it's always been like, okay, well, here's your card for your employees, and we'll eventually see that $1 million. But now it's $5 million up front. So despite similar programs already occurring outside the U.S., Trump says no other country can do this because people don't want to go to other countries. They want to come here. So the way the gold card, which would actually work, at least to start, more like a green card or a permanent legal residency, it would raise the price of admission for investors and do away with fraud and nonsense that Howard Lucknick says characterized the EB-5 program. So a pathway to citizenship as part of the new program also would set it apart from the EB-5 program. Trump said vetting people who might be eligible for the gold card will go through a process that is still being worked out. So,
why not make
give
them?
you,
If you're gonna pull people from out of the country, make them pay for it.
yeah. So to give you an idea, about 8,000 people obtained investor visas in the 12-month period ending September 30th, 2022. That doesn't mean that they all paid $1 million. But Trump and his Secretary of Commerce has already said there's 240,000 people now waiting for this program to get started.
Good way for us to put a dent in our debt.
Exactly. That's what I like about Trump, is it's all out of the box thinking. He's thinking like a businessman.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he's surrounding himself with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
to accommodate these goals.
So it's somewhat like a green card, but at a higher level of sophistication. The president said it's a road to citizenship for people, and essentially people of wealth or people of great talent, where they can invest in the country and where people of wealthy pay for those people of talent to get in. Meaning companies will pay for people to get in and to have long-term status in the country, not only working and helping American companies, but then also a long-term goal of citizenship.
Yeah, and so the ones that do, it cuts down the people coming in, and the ones that come in are going to be getting it the right way.
Mhm.
They're not just going to be, paid on the table for years.
And companies, a lot of large companies won't have a problem paying $5 million to bring people in to help them code or build
No, what was
products.
it? If you make $1 million and have at least 10 employees?
That was for the
No,
old.
that was the old program.
Oh, that was the old program.
Yeah. The old program was if
So,
you invested $1 million in the U.S. and had a company of at least 10 employees. But
so what's
now
the
it's
program
$5
now?
million up front, and then you get the visas.
Oh, I gotcha.
And that's where they're going to plan on paying down the deficit because the money's up front. It's already there. This isn't, future spending or future money in the bank. And
Right.
the same thing with tariffs. They're going to pay down the deficit with tariffs. And I think this is one of his plans that by the end of his 4 years, he plans on getting rid of the income tax. Everything will be paid for by tariffs or other programs, the way it used to be in the United States.
Yeah, it's not even new. He's just bringing it back to where it was,
Mhm.
getting rid of all this bullshit.
All right, boys. So we've been on for an hour. A lot of talking about stuff. A lot of other things. Who wants to see the meme of the week?
Yeah, let's see this thing.
All right. So, do you guys remember when the plane that flipped in Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me show you our meme of the week. It's actually a video.
Eventually. We are having technical difficulties. What are you looking at, Four Eyes?
Shut up, nerd.
You're a nerd. Hey, hide the peanut butter. We're live.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Even your dog looks like, oh man, you're putting me on camera. Don't show my face.
His eyes are like this.
That poor thing.
Oh.
Which way are you looking, puppy?
What are you looking at?
Who are you looking
You boys ready?
Yep.
Yeah, show it.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Peace and airport. Rest be peace was a colonialist name of airport after him. We need to change that. But anyway, there was a Thursday years too when a Delta airline pride came dropping to the ground, drop almost as hard as "Give Me a Hug," my new favorite Drake song, better than CN Tower. But the plane was flying, roars of wind and a brewer from half a puff blow a plane down. The wind took advantage of a plane and made the plane turn over and give the wind $40. The wind made the plane turn over like a rub and tug on a Dundas Street. Happy to say everybody is safe and accountable, and there was no Chinese people on vote. Today,
Oh my god, that's fucked up.
So that's the
Jesus
mayor of
Christ.
Toronto.
Yeah, I've seen her.
Yeah.
That
There's
is
another
not a
one here
voice
that was
actor.
they had a lot of bad flooding.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
seen that one.
I've sent it to you. That's why.
Yeah, probably.
So let's watch that one. Toronto just got through a major flooding because they got a lot of snow, and then the weather warmed up, and then a lot of rain.
Harada Ray.
Hmm.
There's issues with flooding today. Why was it not shut down early enough?
I cannot answer the question at this time. I've been asking over the scientists, and I went to science center actually to read about the water and how the effect the water has on the ground. So too much water fall to the ground, and now I have to raise a tap for the water. That's a rain tap. We talk about the rain tap. Everybody thought, oh, ha, ha, that's so funny. No, not so funny no more because the rainfall and not enough money is correct. So now Drake mentioned, Drake, he's the best rapper. Personally, rag the family matter more than I rag not rag us. And his house now filled with water. We're going to have to raise a tax on Drake Mansion. And all the people don't realize the reason for the water is from the climate change because the country like China and India, they have a lot of coal power plant and they burn a coal go in the atmosphere and then they come to Toronto.
There's issues with
They come to Toronto.
Toronto.
And then there was one more, and it was today.
Got the rain pack.
One more.
And then the Drake Mansion.
To Drake Mansion. Got the rain tag. That guy's
So
good.
today was Jamaican Day or something like that.
Hey, you remember when me and Jake were talking like what do the Swedes give us? A couple episodes
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
What does Jamaica give us? What's Jamaica supply the world?
Plantains.
Ew. That's it?
I don't know. I have no idea, but apparently it was Jamaica Heritage Day in Toronto when this one was filmed. So let's take a look at this one.
Oh, they celebrate that.
Paddy Day in the city of Toronto, and I'm going to go to the dirtiest station in Toronto, Belfast Station, Belfast, and I go to small Jamaican patty shop. I'm gonna see what they got. Okay, Ruga, very fresh, very fresh. They make everything never froze. Okay, you got the two Jamaican party to go hold the cat. Wait so long and never get the food. I don't even know. Is it good? I don't know. Maybe too spicy. Somebody jump in front of a train while I'm waiting party. Oh, that looks really good. I want to take a bite of that. Oh, there's like an Indian dot on my patty. You're making paper.
So fuck. It's so good.
It's so
He
good.
nails it like the lip from that lady, like he got that down.
Is that how she really talks?
Yes. Those are real interviews live.
Well, I know those are real interviews, but is that how she talks?
Yes.
What? Yes,
They just
no.
said Ben Benkus.
What?
Comedy. at the end of that.
What?
It said Ben Benkus.
Yeah, I know it's a comedian. I know he's over. I know he's talking over it, but somebody said that's how she sounds.
That's exactly how she sounds.
Oh,
Exactly.
you would know. Hoy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I see
Whatever,
how
Hoy.
Let me see.
Show me.
Show me the video. Roll the footage.
This is not a China walk.
There ain't no way.
This is Torah, Torah.
Shitty Rock, take oil, please.
Shitty rock. There's no Chinese people.
You'll see that Detroit was underwater from that water main breaking, and then it was freezing out, below freezing.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's what they
fucking
get.
Okay, so here's a good one for you. I know you boys like this one.
Granny porn?
Don't tell me what I like. What? Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Nakayama, you know that China and Japan are actually a different country? Well, really? That's right. And if you look at a map, you see China and Japan separated by body of water. Oh.
This place, City Sushi, is new. You know, some Japanese guy opened up City Sushi right next to fucking City Walk, and everyone thinks it's Chinese food and that it's better Chinese food, and that makes him furious. It's super important to these two people that everyone understands the fucking difference. So they do an assembly together. Mr. Kim and Mr. Yakimoto present Chinese, Japanese, what's the diff?
Hey, what's the diff?
Today we're going to have an assembly on diversity of Asian cultures. Right. And now here is Mr. Liu Kim. He comes out.
Give it up, I am Chinese. And I am a Japanese.
Do you feel like the City Walk guy is a stereotype?
Yes. but I guess we have to go almost all the way, right, in order to kind of make a statement about what it is as an absurd stereotype.
Okay, kids, today we have a special assembly, okay, we're going to learn about the diversity of Asian people. Okay, please welcome Mr. Liu Kim and Mr. Junichi Nakayama.
Ni hao ma, South Park Elementary! Konnichiwa! How are y'all feeling? Yeah, boy! Did you know that China and Japan are actually a different countries? Oh, really?
He's going to push it over the top. And if you pull back visually or pull back on your assignment, he won't get what he wants. Dude, you work at South Park. You better figure out what's funny about that and be able to execute it.
Gail, Asian diversity logo?
I try to give it to the people who'd be most offended by it because they understand it better.
Oftentimes it's more the storyboards that are more offensive, I think, because they're like, oh, these.
See, so look, just to chime in on this, the fact that he said he lets the people who would understand it most make fun of it the most,
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Fuck yeah. That's
Yeah, because they know.
They don't get offended by making fun of themselves.
No.
No, they've heard it their whole lives.
Right.
It's Chinese, so they draw like buck teeth and slanted eyes on the characters. I think most people know what they're getting into when they're working here. Everyone's a target in this building.
You can't even pronounce how we eat.
How do you know you're not just feeding a stereotype?
We are. We do. I'd be hypocritical to say, well, we do it, and it's like, there's, especially with that guy, there's, and it's like, but we're never just doing the thing of like, okay, all the laughs just come from him being a stereotype. Yeah, he's a stereotype, but the story is about this.
Townspeople are officially naming this whole Chinatown area Little Tokyo.
What the fuck?
I think that there's actually possibly some Asians out there that'll feel a little vindicated. It'll be like, yeah, there's a difference, you know.
So
right.
there aren't. I mean, yes, there are stereotypes, but
They're good.
in life, there's humor.
It has to be. All right,
And
fellas.
hey,
I gotta kick off.
all right. Hey, thanks for another great edition of the Cavalry Crew. We will see you here next Friday night. We'll see what happens this week in Washington, D.C. and anywhere else across the world. Have a great night. Don't forget to like us, follow us on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, X, all as the Cavalry Crew.